Good morning. I'm coming to you with a slightly different video today based on something that is happening right now in Colorado and that I'm hoping will save you some of your hard-earned dollars. So you probably all recently got your property tax valuations, and here in the Denver Metro on average those valuations went up by 40% from the ones just 2 years ago that we got. With that in mind, I wanted to help you understand some steps you can take to hopefully reduce how much you have to pay for your property taxes starting January 1st next year. First, let's take a quick look at how property taxes work. As you probably know, property taxes are collected to cover the cost for public needs and services such as schools, hospitals, general funds, roads, and utilities. Your home's valuation is based on a few things: your number of beds, baths, and square footage, and in some cases improvements. But basically, the people at the county are just running comps from July 1st of 2020 to June 31st of 2022. A good portion of this video will be about how to appeal your property taxes. But before we get into that, I want to make sure we look at all the aspects of what go into your property tax bill. The first piece we'll look at is exemptions. You definitely want to make sure that you take advantage of all the exemptions that are available to you. These vary by county, so be sure to find out what is available where you live. There are a few types of exemptions to consider here in Colorado. The first type is for seniors and veterans. The deadline to apply for tax year 2023, payable in 2024, is July 15th. This exemption is available to senior citizens and surviving spouses of senior citizens. On the military side, the exemption is for veterans with an honorable discharge, a service-connected disability, and who are not compensated at a 100% unemployability rate. Spouses of service members who died in the line of duty from service-related injuries and diseases are also eligible, and all those who qualify for this exemption won't be taxed on 50% of the first $200,000 of your property's value. A second type of exemption is for agricultural properties. The PPTE, or Personal Property Tax Exemption. These are available to starting farmers and ranchers in Colorado. Their exemption includes all the things used for growing your plants and raising your animals, and all the related equipment, materials, and supplies up to $100,000. Those are excluded from personal property taxes for 3 consecutive years. This is a great benefit for those with new expenses to get their agricultural property up and running like it should. If you have ag property, be sure to look into longer-term benefits as well. Okay. So that's all the exemptions available in Colorado. So if any of these exemptions apply to you, you definitely want to make sure you apply for those. Another tool we have available for those struggling with property taxes is the ability for owners to apply to defer up to $10,000 in property tax payments. This is not forgiveness, as these payments will be collected when the property is sold. So basically, you can use the increased value of the property to help you pay your bill later on. This option really won't be right for everyone. In fact, I'd only really recommend this route if you can't afford to pay your tax bill and it's making it difficult to keep your property. In order to qualify for this deferral program, you must meet one of the following requirements. First, people 65 years of age or older. Second, people called into military service on January 1st of the year filing for deferral. Or third, anyone whose property taxes increased by 4% more than the average paid over the previous 2 years, which is basically everyone in the Denver metro area, since again, we averaged 40% appreciation since the previous 2-year period. Another option for those struggling with paying their property taxes is to apply for the Denver Property Tax Relief Program, which gives out partial refunds of property taxes. This program is tied to income, so again, it won't be for everyone, but the breakdown here is that the applicants must meet one of the following requirements. Homeowners who turn 65 years old or older during the application year. Homeowners who were disabled for all of the application year. And homeowners who lived with a dependent minor child for all of the application year. In addition, you must make less than 60% of the area median income for the application year you're applying. For 2022 refunds, that AMI looks like $49,260 for one person or $70,320 for a family of 4. You also must have owned and lived in the property for all of the application year and paid your property taxes. Now, on to the main reason I created this video. I've had a number of clients reach out and ask about whether they should appeal their property tax valuations and how to do it, so let's take a few minutes to break that down. First off, should you do it? One thing you have to keep in mind when you're thinking about possibly appealing your evaluation is that the appeal process is not a guarantee that your bill will drop. It may remain the same, or in rare cases it may increase if the reviewer feels your assessment is too low. For instance, if the county has recent records for your improvements like permitting for major work, and they didn't take those improvements into account, they could actually add on to your value and your taxes could go up. This is rare, but definitely not something to ignore. Another scenario where you might not want to appeal your taxes is if you're planning to sell your home soon. A reduction in your assessment right before you put your house on the market could hurt the sale price. On the other hand, even if you bought your home this year, your property taxes may not necessarily be valued at the recent purchase price. An interesting statistic I found is that despite possible savings of thousands of dollars, only 2% of homeowners appeal their assessments, which is the first step in lowering your taxes. And here's an even bigger disconnect. According to the National Taxpayers Union, 60% of properties are overvalued by assessors, so the chance that you will get at least some reduction is pretty high. So aside from the reasons I just mentioned, I don't see a lot of reason that you wouldn't want to at least try to appeal your valuation. It isn't a real complex process, and it could absolutely save you thousands of dollars. Now, onto the process. In terms of time frame, you have only until June 8th to file an appeal. So you don't have a ton of time to procrastinate if you're going to make an effort to appeal your valuation. Reach out to me soon so we have a little time to work with, because if you call me right before the 8th, I may not have time to help. In terms of cost, in Colorado your first 3 appeals are free, and after that it costs $75 for each of these equalization appeals. There are a few ways that you can appeal. You can do it online, here, or you can do it in person or by mail. If you want to do it in person, you need to call 303-864-7710 to schedule an appointment. The next thing to think about is, do you want to do it yourself or do you want help from a professional? You can hire a lawyer or other third-party property tax appeal company to help. They often get paid half of what they save you as their fee if their appeal is successful, or you can do it yourself. If you do it yourself, you're going to need to get comps for your home's value from July 1st, 2020 to June 31st, 2022. With all the information available online, you can certainly try to do it yourself, or feel free to reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you with this part of the process, since I'm a realtor and a lender and I can access all of those details directly from the MLS. If you do reach out, I can help you determine whether the assessment is fair, but just know if we can't find comparable homes in your area that have sold for a lower price, your appeal may not work. At the beginning of the process, you might want to consider calling your local assessor's office. Most assessors are willing to discuss your assessment informally by phone. Make sure to remember to be polite here. Ask for a copy of your property's tax card. That contains the information the town has gathered about your property over time, including the size of the lot, the precise dimensions of all the rooms, and the number and type of fixtures located within the home. Other information may include a section on special features or notations about any improvements made to the structure. As you review this card, note any discrepancies and raise these issues with the tax assessor. The assessor will either make the correction and/or conduct a reevaluation. Also ask them to share the details of how they arrived at the number on your valuation. It was likely, like I said before, just pulling comps of similar homes near yours and averaging the value of the top ones. Ask them to be specific, because they may or may not be looking at things like improvements, which can hurt your case later on. If they aren't willing to share those details, or if the explanation doesn't satisfy you, you can request a formal review, and at the very least, you might be able to get some information about why they have your house valued where it is. That can be helpful in your appeal. When it comes to getting your valuation lowered, the name of the game is proving that your home's value is less than what the assessor initially estimated. There are a number of ways to do this. One assessor who was interviewed recently said, "We urge people to tell us some of the useful information about their house, whether it's you don't know this about my property, or here's some of the sales in my neighborhood that maybe you didn't consider, or we haven't been able to keep up with some maintenance and the house has fallen into a state of disrepair." Now let's dig into 7 ways that you might be able to reduce your home's assessed value. Make sure the information that they have is correct. We already covered this in relation to your property tax card, but if any of the details are wrong, that can cause your valuation to be incorrect. Keep in mind though, that if your goal is reducing your tax valuation, so you pay less tax, you don't want to correct their mistakes if they're in your favor, like if they show that you have a 4-bedroom house when there are 5 bedrooms, etc. This tip sounds laughably simple, but mistakes are common. If you can find them, the township has an obligation to correct them. Number 2, compare comps. Examine other homes that were built in the same year and have similar square footage and improvements. You can include this information, perhaps with additional documentation such as photos, with your appeal to help make your case. Number 3, talk with your neighbors. Find out how much their valuations are and if they pay less than you but own a similar home. You may be in line for a tax reduction if that happens. You just have to ask for it. Homeowners in an area with comparable properties, similar construction, square footage, and lot size should have property taxes that are equally similar in value. 4th, bring up issues with your home. If applicable, you want to highlight and show evidence of any issues with your house that they don't know about that could make your home worth less. This could be a lot of things, like cracks in the walls that indicate potentially costly structural issues, damaged roofs or gutters, heaving concrete, peeling paint, sewer lines that back up, or if that recent rain that we had caused flooding in your home, that kind of thing. If you can show that the comparable properties are superior to yours, you may have a case for reducing your value. One special issue I plan to use this year is that for the last year, there's been constant construction just 3 doors down from my house as they're building the new school where 2 local schools will be combined once it's built. That means anytime I leave my house between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m., I'm basically guaranteed to not have my parking spot in front of my home available. Additionally, once the construction is done and the schools are combined, now there will be traffic and parking issues that go with 600 kids being educated 3 doors down from my house. That can be problematic. Number 5, is the house new to you? If you just bought the home, a common reason you might appeal the value is that a change of ownership or control has recently occurred. Number 6, has there been a recent dip in sale prices? If recent local sales are less than the estimate, you have a case for lowering your valuation. Number 7, what does the appraisal say? One more measure available to you is that you could consider getting an appraiser's evaluation. If you're willing to shell out $375 to $450, you can hire an appraiser to give you a professional opinion of your home's value. Or if you had a recent appraisal, you can submit it with the appeal, if that makes sense. Once you've considered all these reasons that your valuation is arguably too high, send your appeal and your evidence, data on comparable properties, blueprints, photographs, repair estimates, etc., to the assessor for review. If the board approves your appeal, this will lower the assessment on your home. So in January, when they look at your valuation combined with your effective tax rate, it will result in a reduction in your tax bill for the next 2 years. And hopefully, you'll be able to keep a big chunk of your money in your pocket instead of in the politicians. That's it. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll be pasting some links in the comments, including related terminology, how the process works, what procedures involved, what you need to do, etc. You can use that to refer to if you're going to make an appeal on your home's assessment. So make sure you take a look at that and don't miss out on those. I hope this was helpful, but if any of you have any questions about any of this, or if you would like my help with getting comps so you can fight the increase, send me a message in the comments or give me a call at 720-466-3559. Good luck and happy tax reductions.